So, PSG's €45 million bid for Rashford is official. Is it true Neymar is hanging up his boots? United are chasing a Juventus superstar? And has Konaté already said yes to Real Madrid? All that and loads more in today's episode. If this video hits 350 likes, I'll sit down straight away and start working on the next one. Let's jump into the latest transfer rumors. So, that's it then. Neymar's done with football. At least, that's what journalist Rodolfo Gomez is claiming. He says the forward has totally lost his passion for the game, and his career is basically dead. The reason? Simple. Yet another injury. He won't be back on the pitch until next year, and even that's not guaranteed. Gomes pins Neymar's constant injury problems squarely on his lifestyle. We're talking regular whiskey and energy drinks, constant shisha, not getting to sleep until 4 a.m. because he's too busy with poker, Counter-Strike, and parties. That's the schedule of a player who was supposed to become a legend. And this is where the comparison to Cristiano Ronaldo becomes a brutal reality check. A guy who's won it all, even out in Saudi Arabia, is still putting in the work, squeezing every last drop out of himself, and barely has time for his family. It's discipline and dedication versus late nights and shisha. Different mindset, different outcome. But let's be real, Neymar made his choice a long time ago, and it's getting clearer by the day that football just isn't his priority anymore. Remember the transfer to Santos? Everyone was saying it'd be a fresh start, a return home, a massive comeback, build up to the World Cup, then a big move back to Europe. But that's not how it played out. Maybe the constant injuries just broke his will to fight, or maybe he never really tried to get back to that level where he made defenders look silly. It's hard to tell what's the cause and what's the effect now. The bottom line is, Neymar was never Mr. Discipline. Alright guys, don't leave this one without a reaction, it massively helps the channel. Smash the like or dislike button right now, and drop a comment down below. We'd really appreciate it. But now, the plot thickens. Neymar is fuming at Gomes. His company, NR Sports, put out an official statement calling the story frivolous, libelous, and untrue. They've made it clear they will take all legal measures to make the journalist pay. The goal is simple: corner him, get an apology, and make this all go away. Just one problem: Gomes isn't backing down. He fired back immediately, saying he's ready for court. He doubled down, insisting his information is true and comes from his own investigation. If they want to fight, he'll see them in court and trust the justice system to sort it out. He's not budging. So now things get really interesting. Neymar and his team have two choices: go to court and risk having proof of his party lifestyle laid bare for all to see, or they quietly walk away, knowing that pressing on could cause way more damage than the original article ever did. So, what do you think? Is this the end of Neymar the footballer, or is it just another media storm that'll blow over in a few weeks? Good news for Manchester United and Chelsea. Juventus are set to put Dusan Vlahovic up for sale this January. The Serb's contract expires next summer, and Turin are clearly unwilling to risk losing him on a free. In this situation, the club is ready to part with the player for a much lower fee than previously asked. And this is a chance for those desperately seeking to strengthen their attack. Vlahovic is an inconsistent figure. He scores important goals and has bailed Juve out in difficult moments more than once. But one minute he's in the starting lineup, the next he's on the bench. It seems he never fully managed to adapt in Turin. Nevertheless, Premier League clubs are watching the Serb with interest. At 25, he hasn't lost his natural attributes, and a new challenge could be the reboot he needs. For Chelsea, the logic is simple. Nicholas Jackson is out on loan, Delap is in the treatment room. Without reinforcements up front, the Blues will find it tough. Vlahovic is an experienced forward who would at least add options and prevent the attack from collapsing completely. Manchester United have their own story. Benjamin Šeško arrived in the summer but is yet to open his goal-scoring account for the new club. This is where the idea of Vlahovic comes in. Experienced, hungry for game time, and capable of plugging a gap here and now. In Turin, they understand all of this perfectly. Yes, the club acknowledges the Serb has started the season well, and the attack looks poorer without him. But the paradox is that this is precisely the best moment to sell him. The player is in form, his confidence is high, and there's a demand for forwards. Selling now could secure the funds for a worthy replacement in the summer. This is the essence of Juventus's strategy, balancing current results with the team's future development. They already tried to offload Vlahovic in the summer. Various clubs showed interest, But a deal never materialized. Now the situation has changed. The contract is running down, the risks are growing. Italian media outlets like Il Bianconero and Gazzetta dello Sport are confident the club is already preparing for negotiations. At the same time, no one is hiding the forward's value. He's described as fantastic, with his leadership and contribution in the dressing room highlighted. But business is business. Turin wants to not only remain competitive, but also to cash in on the transfer while they still can. For Juventus, the main thing is to keep the player motivated until winter. As long as Vlahovic is available, he must continue to score and help the team. But everyone understands his future is likely outside of Turin. The scenario writes itself. In January, a battle between United and Chelsea for the Serb's signature begins. Juventus benefit, they get money for a replacement and avoid losing him for free. Vlahovic wins too. A new league, new challenges, a new chance to restart his career. Because when your contract is expiring and the club is ready to sell, the question isn't if Vlahovic will leave, but where he will go. Marcus Rashford, recently considered surplus to requirements at Manchester United, has unexpectedly found a new lease of life at Barcelona. His summer loan move to the Camp Nou was initially met with skepticism. In England, he had stagnated for too long, underperforming season after season and failing to return to the top level he had previously shown. But in Catalonia, things have been different. Hansi Flick has successfully integrated him into his tactical framework, and Rashford has shown, like an old engine finally given the right fuel. Now Barça are seriously considering a permanent move, as his contract includes a purchase option for 30 million euros. For the Catalans, this looks like a gift, but this is where Paris Saint-Germain enters the fray. The French club, according to Fichajes, sees Rashford as their main target for the next transfer window and are prepared to put 45 million euros on the table. Logically, Manchester United would be far more willing to accept this offer than the modest 30 million euros from Barça. For the Premier League club, it's a convenient outcome either way. They offload a player who has long been out of their plans while earning a larger fee. For Barcelona, the situation has become sharply more complex. On one hand, they have a purchase option that's hard to ignore. On the other, Manchester United still hold the final say, and in a competitive situation, they will naturally lean towards the highest bidder. This is where the player's own preference comes into play. According to the Spanish press, Rashford is determined to stay at Barcelona and continue his career there. He has adapted well to the new environment, embraced Flick's ideas, and regained something he lacked in Manchester: confidence. However, PSG cannot be underestimated. Firstly, they had been tracking Rashford long before his move to Barça. Secondly, the prospect of playing alongside Dembélé and other stars could be tempting. The Parisians are skilled negotiators, and their financial capabilities are on another level. The 45 million euro offer is just the beginning. It's worth remembering that the salary on offer in Paris would be incomparably higher than what Barça can afford. Friends, let's take a quick pause for you to like or dislike this video. Any reaction is important. Thank you for your engagement, it really helps the channel's work. For Barcelona, this is all turning into a race against time. The Catalans want to wait until the end of the season to make a final decision. On the surface, this is reasonable. They will have more data to assess Rashford's long-term contribution. But this very strategy opens the door for PSG. The French club could use this pause to reach an agreement with United in advance, especially if Manchester decides to act on the principle of quicker cash, quicker deal. The current state of play is this. Barça holds the trump card of a fixed option and the player's backing. PSG has the money, the experience in these negotiations, and the desire to add another elite forward. Manchester United has the deciding vote and will undoubtedly be looking closely at the numbers. If the choice is between 30 million euros and 45 million euros, there's little doubt which way the scales will tip. Rashford himself is in a situation where much depends on more than just his wishes. At 27, he wants stability and a new chapter in his career, but is forced to navigate between Barca's ambitions, PSG's interest, and United's calculations. For now, Barcelona are considered the favorites, but as experience shows, PSG's financial arguments can overturn any situation. And this brings us to the main question. What will Rashford choose? Stability and trust in Catalonia, or a new challenge and big money in Paris? Ibrahima Konaté is back in the transfer headlines. And for Liverpool, things are getting seriously nervy. His contract is up in June 2026, but talks over a new deal have ground to a halt. Back last autumn, it looked like both sides were close to an agreement. Negotiations were ongoing through October and November, but then it all just stopped. That was almost a year ago, and still nothing is signed. And now, to make things worse, Real Madrid are sniffing around, and they haven't taken their eyes off the French defender. Fabrizio Romano, doing what he does best, laid out the drama. Real Madrid absolutely loves these situations. It's their trademark to go after top players whose contracts are running down. That's how they got Alaba and how they snapped up Rudiger. Konaté fits the bill perfectly. They rate him, they have a great relationship with his agents, and if Liverpool can't get this extension over the line, Ibrahima could be their next big-name free signing. Let's be clear though, Real Madrid won't play dirty. There won't be any official talks before January. They won't go behind Liverpool's back. But if nothing changes by then, they'll be free to make their move. However, it's not that simple. ESPN is reporting that there are genuine debates going on inside Madrid about Konaté. Their number one target, William Saliba, was a no-go after he re-signed with Arsenal. That was a big setback for Real, as they saw Saliba as their man for years to come. Now they're looking at other options, and Konaté is right at the top of the list. Still, not everyone in Madrid is convinced. Some see him as the logical choice, young, proven at the top level, but others have doubts. Is it too much of a gamble on a player who's often struggled with injuries? And look at the competition he'd face. Militão, Rudiger, and the new signing Huijsen are all there. Even Alaba is still around for now. Meanwhile, Liverpool are desperate to keep him. They tried in the summer, they tried again in August. Nothing. The talks are still complicated, and you can bet Konaté's team knows they hold all the cards right now. That interest from Real Madrid is a huge piece of leverage. Madrid also has a long-term plan. They're already thinking about their defense for 2026. David Alaba will likely be gone. Rudiger keeps getting linked with Saudi Arabia. And even Militão isn't indestructible. In that scenario, Konaté is the perfect solution. Free, top class, and ready to go. This all points to one thing. Liverpool are in a very dangerous spot. Real Madrid are playing it cool for now, but the clock is ticking for Arne Slot and the board. It's not just about whether Konaté wants to stay. It's about whether Liverpool can offer a deal and a vision for the future that's better than the lure of that iconic white shirt. Right now, one thing is for sure. The Ibrahima Konaté story is set to be one of the biggest transfer sagas of the next year. And the longer Liverpool waits, the more noise it's going to make. Barcelona are on the hunt for a new number 9. And it's mainly because, by the looks of it, this will be Robert Lewandowski's final season in a Barça shirt. The Polish striker's contract is up in the summer, and the club's already scouting for his replacement. The top target for that striker spot is Sergio Guirassy from Borussia Dortmund. Reports in Germany and Spain claim Hansi Flick is personally pushing for the move. He wants some fresh legs up front and is really keen on working with the Guinean. And Flick's got a point. Guirassy has banged in 43 goals in his last 56 games. Those are some serious numbers, especially when you remember he's up against some pretty solid Bundesliga defenders. Speaking of numbers, his are actually better than this channel's. He's got 43 goals, and I've got 80% of you watching who, for some reason, are shy about hitting that subscribe button. Come on guys, what are you waiting for? A personal invite from Laporta? It's not happening, but new videos are, so hit subscribe and notifications to stay ahead of the game. Let's get these stats up together. On top of that, he's already scored 4 in 4 for Dortmund this season. The guy is in great form. His contract runs until 2028. But Bild reports there's a buyout clause of 60 to 75 million euros, though it only applies to a select few top clubs. And yes, Barcelona is on that list. Logically, it's a perfect storm. The clause is active, they need a Lewandowski replacement, and the manager is desperate to sign him. But as always with Barça, it all boils down to the money. The club's finances are still shaky, to say the least. And even 60 to 75 million euros is a huge ask for their current budget. Plus, not everyone at the club is sold on Guirassy. Flick is all for it, but rumor has it Joan Laporta isn't quite as excited about the Guinean. The president wants a bigger, flashier name, maybe another Galactico to make a huge splash, not just to check a box. The fact that Guirassy has supposedly been offered around Europe shows he's open to a move and a new challenge. And from that perspective, Barça is a great fit. The manager wants him, the position is open, and the playing style suits him. Sure, he could keep tearing it up at Dortmund, but at 29, the clock is ticking for him to make that one last big career move. For now, the Catalans are just keeping tabs. No serious talks are happening. But if Flick stays in charge and keeps pushing, this whole story could heat up as we get closer to summer. It all hinges on how much influence Flick has and whether Barça can somehow find the cash. It could happen, especially if the player forces the issue with Dortmund. That is, unless a club like PSG or Chelsea rocks up with a mountain of cash and decides to blow everyone else out of the water. So yeah, things are up in the air, but Barcelona's transfer radar has a firm lock on GUIRASSY.